Let's get right to it. Good evening, everyone. Jose J. Garcia, real estate investor, coach, and mentor. So, another Wednesday webinar coaching. What is a Wednesday webinar? This is typically only for members of the GMHU, Garcia MHU, and of course, I've done a pin on Instagram and on TikTok. Zoom, that's where you got it from, so you know where you're coming into. But the past Wednesday and this Wednesday, we've gone live in every platform that we have, excluding, of course, of YouTube and LinkedIn. But we are here. So we're going to be doing this call. Now, next week, we're going to go back to members only. It is going to be a different call every week, different topic. And we do open the floor for Q&As. A lot of people are asking if they can come in and ask questions. Absolutely. It does not have to be the topic related, but if it is a question that you have outside of the topic that we are covering, just wait towards the end of the call or drop it on the chats and we will get to the questions. That's one thing to guarantee we're going to answer every question because that's what we're here. We're here to add value, to answer everybody's questions, to help everybody as much as we can, and obviously to set you up for as much success as we can. All around, we all got something to contribute. Everybody has something to bring to the table. So if you do have a question, if there's something you want to cover on here as well, you can always raise your hand, unmute yourself, or again, just drop a comment. That goes for TikTok and Instagram. I know y'all cannot unmute yourselves. So let's see here. And we'll talk a little bit towards the end about some of the announcements, coaching calls we have, events, and we do have a calendar for you all. So I'll cover that at the end. Let me make a note on that calendar. That's going to be huge. I think that's going to help out a lot of people who cannot set things on their own calendar. We're going to give you our own calendar. So we'll talk about that. But tonight's coaching is going to be the art of selling. Now, we are no longer doing same call Sunday and Wednesday like we were. Originally, when we started this webinar, it was typically Sunday when we coach a 30-minute free coaching. It's a little more sped up. It's very short. I mean, I only get 30 minutes. So, and some calls maybe only 30 minutes, but depends on the topic. We can only cover so much. These here, we go a lot more deep dive and we get into the real nitty gritty, if you will, the real specifics. So, but we're not doing back to back the same coaching. It is different ones this week and the previous. Let me see. Sunday, we covered due diligence. That's right. We covered the due diligence in a mobile home, whether it included mobile home land or just a mobile home inside of a community. Tonight, like I said, we got the art of selling. So that is the selling of mobile homes. I don't think it should be as hard to sell as it is to find deals. But that's one of the main reasons that I want to make this call here is because apparently a lot of investors out there, even some wholesalers, some bird dogs, y'all are struggling to sell mobile homes. That should not be the case. Here's the reason why. The more these apartments, these condos, these houses, the more they keep on inflating and the more those prices keep going up, the more need there is for mobile homes. Do not forget the mobile homes are the affordability housing that everybody needs. I'm asked, where do you see mobile homes in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? Are they going to be there? Is there going to be a need? There has always been a need for affordable housing. Stop looking at them. Is there a need for a mobile home? That's irrelevant in the sense when you're talking about this. Is there a need for affordability housing? There is a serious shortage of housing, all around housing in America. And when it comes to affordable housing, it's even that much more and growing. And back to my first comment, the more these houses, these condos, these duplexes, all these other houses, types of real estate go up, the more there's a need for affordable housing, which is mobile homes. One of the areas that we are investing pretty hot and heavily in is down in central Georgia, where it's actually the Shadow is going to be held as well. And that's one of Robbins, Byron. If you know the state of Georgia, I can look it up, that area. And when I say hot, I mean, it has always been in need. There's always been a demand there. Multiple exit strategies can be done. But over the past 2 years, we have just seen outrageous when it comes to apartments, when it comes to condos. I mean, some of these were $600-700 a month originally. Now some of these are going from $1,300-1,400. So think about that when we're talking about ballooning and inflation and trying to keep up with affordability housing. Somebody working at, nothing against anybody, but somebody working at a Walmart, at a grocery store, talking about making now $1,400-1,500 for an apartment or one bedroom may not be ideal. So this is where, again, we differentiate and there's such a need for, because for that same $1,500, I mean, some of the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single wides, which is more room times 3, right? We're renting down for $700-800 a month. That's near half of what they're paying elsewhere. Not to mention the privacy. Okay, in an apartment here, you got people upstairs, you got people under you, beside you. all kinds of party stuff going on, right? With mobile homes that are communities and, stigma. Some people say, well, there's a stigma though. Some people don't want to live, some people don't have the option. But don't forget also that, just because it's a mobile home park, it doesn't have to be it's a rundown mobile home parks. There are grades that we put mobile home parks in, A, B, C, or D. D, I would say that's probably not where you want to be investing. That's where you would be concerned. Will my material be the next day? Will somebody break in my home? What kind of activity, illegal activity is going on, kind of stuff. That's unfortunate. That's where that comes from. And that's typically what gives mobile homes a bad name, the bad rap that, mobile homes are trashy, et cetera, et cetera. I think the stigma is a good thing in a way. I don't see other investors as competition. I see them as somebody I can network with, but definitely a lot more in the mix at this point. 7 years ago, there was not that many investors. Mobile home investors were very low key. It's always been there. It's always been around, but it was very low key. Today's date, everybody's very loud about it. Okay, there's a wholesaler in every corner, bird dog, investor, flipper, etc., which all means that now there's more and more options for sellers or buyers, which is a good thing in a sense. But the stigma itself of trailer trash or whatever you want to call, I think keeps it from being as overgrown as what real estate would look like. So, pros and cons to everything, right? But all in all, is mobile homes are needed, no matter how you put it. So why are you struggling to sell your mobile home if there's such a high demand, such a need? And I think some of that, I'm going to start with the mistake that a lot of investors make. Okay. One is they're overpricing their mobile homes, whether it's the rental side or the selling side. Remember, everything is much like real estate when it comes to mobile homes. You have to find comparables and you have to compare to whatever is equal to value, whether it's the year, make, model, the size of the homes, bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. What has sold in the past 30, 60, 90 days in the same community? Same like real estate. If you're on one side of the bridge on real estate, the market may look a certain way. Numbers, the houses are selling for X amount of number. But if you go over the bridge, what happens? Typically it's 3, 4, 5, or even more than that over the size, right? And you're talking not even half a mile across. Well, the same way, we've seen where there's communities that are side by side. The only thing that's keeping these mobile homes apart, mobile home parks apart, is a fence. That's it. Okay. So does that mean that I'm able to comp from one mobile home park on one side to the one on the other side? Absolutely not, because the grades could be different. There's only a fence that are keeping them apart, but don't forget that just like real estate, one could have one of the parks could be an A plus or an A minus. Another park, the other park could be a D or a C. Are you able to comp them? No, because the numbers change in the sense. The selling, and it's always your in number is your ARV. What are after repair valuable mobile homes move-in ready going forward in this park? That's your starting number throughout. So you can begin with that and see where you're at versus them all. I never market our homes top market numbers. I never have. And one of the reasons is because, again, I want to make it desirable. I want to make it desirable. I want to make somebody, if I put mine exactly the same number as everybody else, what gives somebody an initiative to take yours versus somebody else per se? So a lot of things have to happen. You have to know the numbers, the markets. You have to know what you're doing for a sense. There's a lot of guessing going on in mobile homes at this time. And when I say guessing, it is from the start number and then trying to make up the difference. One thing that we're seeing a lot of investors say is, well, I got to get 10,000 for this, or I got to get 15,000. Of course, I ask why. Well, why do you need to get 10,000 or 15,000? Well, I paid 12,000. Well, your mistake is not my mistake. You understand? And it goes right back to, again, the following in the beginning numbers. When I'm buying a mobile home as is, I have to know what the value is of that mobile home from the start point. Based on comparables and based on where the after repair values are going, I can subtract, do the math backwards and see, is this a good deal? Just because somebody's selling for 10,000, you cannot offer 8 and think you have yourself a good deal. Then you buy it, you invest in it, and then turn around and you're trying to make some money. So you're going to market even more, but it turns out that you overpaid to begin with. That's not a good deal for anybody. So you have to really know those numbers. That's the beginning key, is know what you're investing in before you get involved. Once you're trying to sell and you can't sell and you're scrambling, that's not a good position to be in. And I see many investors that get into that. We had one investor one time, she ended up becoming a student after the fact. I wish it would have became a student before the fact. But what she actually did, she invested way over the numbers. I want to say it was close to 10,000 for the mobile home alone. That mobile home as is value was, I would have put around 4,000, maybe 5,000 on her best day, if you will. Well, by the time she put some material, the labor, the handyman, all the above, she was well over 15,000. Now, in that same market, she was able to give for the same size, make whatever it was. I think it was around anywhere from 18 and 19,000. That's what I'm referring to. Okay. Now, her being at over 15,000 and being able to sell for 18 or 19, maybe 19 on the best day. Is that a good deal for you all? No. And if it's not a good deal for you all, what makes you think it's going to be for somebody else? One of the things that I think a lot of investors need to do is put yourself in the buyer's position. Always. If you were the buyer, if you were trying to invest in a certain mobile home or a certain mobile home park or area, what are things that you would demand, that you would require, and that you would need to make you a buyer? If you can figure out those things there, you're going to start figuring out more and more what people need in the area. And that is super important, especially for some of y'all that keep talking about investing virtually. Can you invest virtually? Can you? Absolutely. We do it every day. And we are growing. We're currently 6 different states, USA, Southeast, but we will be nationwide. Nationwide does not mean I'm going to run across the California to make a closing, run over to New York to make a closing, run back down the floor. That's not going to happen. Virtually. We're going to do virtually. But see, the idea is, again, to figure out the numbers and the markets first. If you can figure those out in every market, and every market has some, just like real estate. If you can figure out the market numbers, you're going to be able to invest anywhere. A mobile home, that's just the product. We can handle that. Rehabs, materials, handymans, contractors, same thing, over and over, same thing, no matter where you put it. So, okay. All right. So let me see. So let me give you the tips on that. So learn your buyer. You have to learn your buyer, what it is that they're looking for, and why you. Why should a buyer buy from you and not somebody else? Remember back to the whole desirable. That's one of the things. I'm going to give you some tips here that you can try out. Some of these may be for you selling, because remember, there's different types of buyers, just like there's different types of sellers. If it is an investor buying from you, then that's a different way you pitch deals to them. That's the way you pitch to whatever investment opportunities you have. If it's a direct buyer that's maybe they're trying to buy the mobile home to live in it, stay there for a while, maybe later on flip it, whatever they need to do. That's a different type of a buyer. So some of y'all's buyers may even be a mobile home park owner. We do a lot of business with park owners directly. I'll tell you now, if you can get connected with any park owner, everything is number sense, and that is the best relationship you can make with any type of buyer or seller when it comes to mobile homes, is direct park owners. They are businessmen or women, and they understand the concept of. So if you know what you're doing, it's going to be easy for you to come through. So a home next to in line, rent K house. I will answer a few of these questions here in a few minutes. Y'all just bear with me. I'm going to keep going here. So I think we're doing pretty good time. Good time. Okay. Y'all drop a comments, questions. I will look at all the comments here in a minute. Instagram, TikTok, I will get to your question in a minute as well. So, all right. So, and buyers, definitely learn your buyers. That is huge. And it doesn't matter what product service you're doing. Learning your buyers is something everybody should be doing. So, but now, why you? What makes you so much more desirable to work with you, to buy from you versus Mr. John down the street or Ms. Johnson down back alley, wherever? Make things easier for people. One of the things we started doing, and it did happen during COVID, I don't want to talk about COVID anymore, but it did happen over COVID, was not being able to meet people in person. How do you do a closing? How do you do a mobile home walkthrough? How do you do this? How do you do that if you cannot be seen with people? You cannot be close to them. Well, we use DocuSign. There's other methods to doing the same. You can use other systems. You can even email some of these things. But when it came to the closings, we made it now where we do not meet anybody, even post a fax. Some people want to meet in person, want to come to the office. We're very limited as to when they can. We want to make it as easy for them as it is for us. And DocuSign has been one of those options. Okay, if we can send a buyer a document directly to their email, they don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to drive. They can review all the rule regulations, everything in the agreements, and see if it's something that they can abide and agree to, and they complete the form right from their phone or from the laptop device. Send it back to us. We review it, make sure everything is signed, and we sign our part. And it is next step after that. That is one of the ways that you can make it easier and much more convenient than, hey, you need to drive 3 or 4 hours to come and see me. We need to set an appointment. Maybe I can see you this day. Too many things, too many hassles, right? And some of the investors and even end buyers that come to us, and that's one of the things they say is that, it's so much easier to do closings with you. You can just send this directly to me. Now, you will have some little trust issues there. That's a whole different story, but that's your credibility. We're not going to get into that one today. So that's one thing that you can do. When it comes to paying, let's take one more step into that. Now it is time for them to make a deposit or make a payment, direct wire. There are so many options you can use today. Direct wire, you have money orders that can email it directly to you. Cashier's check, Zelle, there's Venmo, there's PayPal. That's between you and whatever y'all decide upon. Make sure everything is written on paper, everything is on agreement, and everything checks out. But again, the opportunities are there for you to make it easy and most hashtag convenient. That's the key. Make it convenient. Some people don't. You stand out in that purpose. Okay. If it is an end buyer. So if it's a park owner, it is numbers. If it's an investor, it is typically numbers, some convenience, and why I'll invest with you as well. But if it's a direct buyer, maybe some of y'all have a mobile home already rehab, it's ready, but you cannot sell it out. You don't want to rent it out, you want to sell it, but buyers are just not coming in, they're not really giving you any feedback. We're going to touch back on that. What about giving them reasons to stop renting? Maybe an apartment or a house or another mobile home. Stop renting. Okay. Some of the ads, some of the way you come across could be the key for you to make your sale. Why rent when you can own? That's huge. Why rent when you can own? And ask them, politely, professionally, but what are you paying across the street there for your rental? If I may ask, $700, $800. Wow. Did you know that you can buy our mobile home here with a small down payment of $3,000? And after that, it is $800 a month every month. That's the same thing that you're paying over across the street. Only now, within 3 to 5 years, you're actually going to own the one we have here. Make them see that. I'll say when you're buying and selling, you're always on coaching mode. It does not matter. If you're a mobile home investor, you should always be on coaching mode, always explaining and always giving reasons why. And if y'all investors go to DMV, you know exactly what I'm talking about, the time spent allocated to teach DMV reps on their own systems, right? But low, poor, or no credit. Low, poor, or no credit. That's huge. Some of the end buyers that had come to us before, and it was the way we were listing our properties, our mobile homes, was 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 18,000 cash or best offer, may finance with X amount of down payment. Call us. Bam. Leave it at that. So a lot of the people, many times, when you got to think about affordability housing, it is also type of clientele. That clientele may have poor credit, no credit, or low credit. A lot of times these people have already been denied at every bank, every credit union. Nobody will lend to them for whatever reasons on their credit. Is it possible for you to be able to make an exception and work with them? We do have a formula. We do coach specifically on doing our due diligence on residents or tenants. As a matter of fact, we have a coaching call on that coming in about 2 weeks, I believe. But I've never been so focused on somebody's, when it comes to mobile homes, on their credit, whether it's low, poor, or no credit, as much as I am on seeing their history. I do want to pay attention to the history, and obviously the mobile homes in the community, mobile home park, they're going to want to do their own backgrounds anyway. Now with the mobile home parks, a lot of what they focus on is the criminal. Is there any felonies? Any hard charges that are on there, that's going to immediately remove them from the ability to live there. So regardless if they have phenomenal credit at that point, it's not going to happen. You also need to focus on that. But what I am focusing more so is how many delinquencies do they have? If typically if you pull somebody's credit, okay, they have a 500 credit score, fine. Sometimes maybe they have none. Sometimes they have 18 different items in collections. If you, and this will happen, I hate to call it on that, but if you see anywhere to that excessive of 18, 19, or even 20 collections, you're number 21. You will be the next one. You sooner or later, history has a way of repeating itself. That's the unfortunate side. Now, we like to work with everybody, absolutely, but there's things that we pay attention to, and no different than a dealership. Remember, at the end of the day, mobile homes are much like vehicles. There's certain things, the requirements that you have to abide by, and if you cannot meet those, then as simple as you get denied. But we do give that option, and at least listing your ads with that low, poor, or no credit, okay, or we work with you, can mean somebody taking initiative and reaching out to you and be somebody that you can work with. We had this younger couple close to a month ago. They got one unit from us, and that was the thing that were really hindering. And I'm going to get to why you need to ask for feedback, because that's huge. But they were interested, but they weren't too responsive. They just kind of kept going back and forth. Where finally I sat down and I asked them, what's the real reason? Give me the reason why, and see if we can work with you. Well, it turns out they had no bad credit, but they've never had a single credit card. Now, if you've never had a single credit card, that sometimes can be worse than having one in kind of bad credit. Weird how the credit system works. But they had no credit. They've already been denied trying to get some type of application for an apartment, et cetera, et cetera. I was able to approve them. They had nothing wrong on the credit. Okay. Now, another one, I'm going to take one more step forward. everything about how you offer the convenience and anything you can make somebody's life better. As a landlord, if you are a mobile home investor, it is very, very easy to get in connection with the three major credit bureaus. Okay. When somebody makes a payment on their lot rent, on their rental, it is something that you can report as a positive. That's going to help them start building their credit. And that's something that you can tell them. Look, I also noticed that you had no credit, which is no shame, but it is what it is. But here's what you will get with us if you take this mobile home and we approve you. Every month that you make the payment on time, we're going to report to the three major credit bureaus, and it's going to show positive and positive. And that's going to slowly start building your credit as well. So now it's a win-win. You get the home, okay, and you get start building your credit. Later on, you can actually start getting something else bigger, finance, whatever you need. So pluses. You're making somebody's life better. That is the goal. That is the key, right? Help them get approved with the park community. Some of these communities that we invested in now with us, obviously we do a lot bigger business than most investors. But some of you have come to me and said, I have a mobile home in a certain park, and the park management takes forever to get the background. We know about those. So the background should not take more than 2-3 days tops. And we've heard and know some mobile home community parks that take 2-3 weeks. That is not a system delay by any means. That is a personnel and employee delay. They either have not applied it on their system, that they're not really doing their job, et cetera, et cetera. I won't go into too much of that. And it can make it hard. It can make it hard on the above. But the problem with that is that if you have a unit out, the mobile home for sale, and they're taking 2-3 weeks to get you that background in return, that could mean you're losing a buyer. That buyer is going to lose interest, or maybe they're in a hurry. Maybe they're getting out of an apartment or one of the mobile homes that they're living in. The agreement is ending and they need to move. And here you're taking 2-3 weeks because that's how they're going to see it. Yes, you sent them to the office to apply, but you're the one in charge. It's your home. They're going to see as you are not really doing what you should be doing to get them approved. So that's a good way to lose a potential buyer or resident tenant, whatever exit strategy you're using. So one thing that you can do is step into that and see how you can help. How can you help the office get this done a little quicker? Some of the parks that we do business with, and again, we do it bigger scales, but this is not impossible for you all. I've even gone to park managers and say, look, I know you're swamped. I know you're busy as can be. You got all these things to handle, and here comes another one of my potential residents. Is it possible that we can send them to the police department and get their background done this time? Or better yet, I have a system. If those of you landlords listening on here, rentprep.com. That is a great site. There's many out there. Y'all can use whatever you like. I myself and our company here, we use rentprep.com. And that, 2 hours. We have background results on that typically. It's very quickly. If it's over the weekend, it may be a little slight delay, but it's very instant. And on there, we can check the same thing. We're checking for background criminal history. We're checking for credit. We're checking for anything that we may need to know about, of course. Thorough, proper interview. But some park managers have said, you know what? Yes, that's fine. When you get it done, just bring it to me, bring me a copy, let us review it, and we'll let you know what we think. That's going to be that one more step that, again, you just added value to the park manager. That's one less task they have to do. You think you may be aiming on the right field in relationship with them at that point. Then the buyer, the resident, tenant, whatever they're doing, whatever exit strategy, they get to move in quicker now, and they get approved if you can get them approved. And you get yourself a resident. Win, win, win. The win trio. I love those. We had an older lady who there was a community north of Atlanta, and she kept trying to get into the community, and it kept being a denial, and they kept giving her these reasons back and forth. Sometimes park managers, they won't give you the real reason why, which legality wise, they're really supposed to actually give you a report or give you some type of answer as to why you've been denied. Well, it turns out that they don't allow pets at this community, and we're starting to see a lot more parks that are allowing no pets. There's a whole thing going on with discrimination of certain pet, if it's a pit bull or whatever it may be. They say, well, you can't have this type of breed, but then you have some that are mixed, and it just becomes a fiasco. So some of these parks are saying no pets. Bam, just bottom down the line, you can't have a pet here. Okay. So this lady, she had a dog, and she could not, quotations, live without the dog. So the only way that she was going to be able to move into that community, buy that mobile home, is if she was able to keep the dog, which again, it came back to her repeatedly. We don't allow pets. We're not going to allow pets. We're not going to give you an exception. If we allow you to come in and bring a pet, then we have to let everybody else in the community have pets. Not to mention they had recently, I think, gotten rid of other pets. It was a lawsuit waiting to happen if they allowed her to come in. We stepped into that and seen what we could do on that. The lady told us, well, it's a service dog. This dog, I've had it for X amount of years. It's actually, and you're seeing a lot of that is where people have service dogs. They have these dogs for type of medical reasons. And we dug into it a little bit deeper to see what was really going on. And it turns out that she did, in fact, have it registered. Because a lot of people are saying, hey, my dog is registered for this. It is for a medical condition on that. But it's just a dog they got somewhere and they just decided to call it that. It's my therapy dog, if you will. There is ways where people who actually need these type of pets like this, they can actually register the pets to be under that register. And then, in fact, they can be considered a service for instance dog. That being said, however, that changes rule regulations all around. That's city, county, states, and I think even nationwide. You cannot discriminate a individual for having a pet if it is considered a service dog, for instance, in this case. So for that reason, they had to allow her to come in. That was one exception they did. She ended up immediately moving in, happy as could be. But we had to step in and really figure out the reasons as to why. Why is it that she can't move in? Why are you being denied? What's the reasons behind it, et cetera, and help her move forward. I know that seems like a lot of work. Some of you are thinking, I don't want to get involved with that. That's headaches. I don't want to deal with that. Well, you may have to. You may have to step out of your comfort zone just a little bit more and step in and help, or hang on to your property for weeks and weeks to come. Remember, every day that you hold on to your property, that it is not sold, it is not rented or making you money, it is costing you money. So you might want to get a little involved, and look, it goes a long way. People like that are very grateful. Some of them still check with us every day. Hey, or every week, how's it going? Just etc. Thank you for this. That goes a long way because most people don't care to help in that sense. Any questions so far? I'm going to keep on going. I see a couple of TikToks. Something about 300,000. What? Somebody, y'all want to give me 300,000? I'll take 300. Let's see. TikToks. I've got a family home. I'm next in line. It's 300K house. And I want to make it renting or selling. I don't understand your question. You said you're next in line for a home, $300,000, and you want to make it into a rental or selling. Rewrite that question if you can. I'll definitely get back to it. Let me get on the Instagram real quick, and then I'll go to Zoom. So, yeah, glad to have you on here. Absolutely, Chandler. Glad you joined us. Absolutely, keep joining us every Wednesday. Different topic, different lessons. So we cover all that we can. Always adding value. All right, let me keep on going here. So now you're buying more of these. You're trying to get more and more buyers. Let's keep going. So what's another initiative that you could do? What's another way you could add value? Remember when I say this, real estate, everything is about location, location, location. You've heard that everywhere, right? When it comes to mobile homes, it's timing, timing, and timing. It is all what time of year it is that you're going to have the most buyers, the most cash buyers, and the most people that need homes as usual, but they don't have that much cash to give you across. Again, mobile homes are affordable housing. Even if you're selling something for 20, 25,000, is it possible that everybody has 20, 25,000 cash in their back pocket just to give to you? No. Timing. Timing means that from the beginning or mid to February to about the end of May, everybody has money. Why is it? Why does everybody have money? Tax time. Tax time, everybody's thousandaires. They're out there spending, they're out there borrowing. And that's when most majority of the people can say, I'll buy this for 20,000 cash today. Here you go. Done. That happens. The further out towards the end of the year that you start getting, people are still in need, but now it becomes a, well, I'll buy it, but I don't have 20,000 or I don't have 25,000. What I do have, however, is 5,000 that I can do maybe down payment if you don't mind financing. Is that not an opportunity for you to say, absolutely, take the 5,000 and create a note or financing terms for the next 3, 4, or 5 years and charge them every month X amount plus interest, if that's what you choose to do? Absolutely, opportunities. But on top of that, here's something else you can do, because a lot of people say, well, I'll go ahead and put the 5,000. That's all I got. I have no more money after that. That means I'm going to have to wait till mid-month just before I can buy anything. But right around the corner, there is the first payment, and there's lot rent. So now you got double payment that they may have to pay immediately and not something they can afford. Could you eliminate the first and maybe even the second payment and put them towards the end of the loan? So if you're moving in, let's say you're moving in October 1st, I'm going to go ahead and make the first payment for you to be in in December or January. Would that help you out? Get you up on your feet to do what you need to do. Those are incentives that you can do that. Again, who else is doing those? Why you? Because you stand out. You're adding more and more ways to help them out in a sense, beginning started. And If you can do it, great. If you can't, that's one of those things as well, obviously. But we've seen where a lot of times that goes a long way, again, especially this time of year. We are now going into October, right around the corner. Now you have Thanksgiving, they have Christmas, they have New Year's, holidays, people, family time. If people want to spend family time with their family and buy Christmas gifts and holidays, etc. So, I get it. The money should be focused where, it's more beneficial, but that's the way people are. So just think ahead of that. How can you make those things better for them? Okay. All right. Follow up with buyers. That's one thing that I see just about every investor do. You do not follow up with buyers that have seen your mobile homes or shown some type of interest. If somebody comes and sees your mobile home, they've taken the initiative to call you, to ask you questions, to get an idea, and they actually drive out to the property. That to me is a hot potential. That means somebody is more interested than somebody just sending you a few messages. Yeah, I may look into it tomorrow. I'll message you if I want to see it, et cetera, et cetera. They're fine too. But I'm going to list these numbers and these names down, and I want to follow up with them. Especially somebody that's gone out and seen them, I want feedback. A lot of you are trying to sell the same product over and over, and it's incorrect. Why? Because you have not asked what is wrong with it. You've had 10 different type of buyers that come into your mobile home, and none of them, some of them don't even respond to you anymore. They, as some of you say, they ghost me. They're not answering me anymore. So forget about them. I just move on to the next one. And you go to the next one and you do the same thing. Same pitch, same approach, same everything. Oh, there it goes to me again. Okay, go to the next one. And you keep doing it over and over and over. Stop at that point. That's when I say stop. But let's regroup. Let's go back to number one, and let's very politely, professionally ask. Some of that thing, something like that, I would call them and ask them. Let's just say, Mr. Johnson, I noticed that you saw my mobile home back on 9:15 at around 3 p.m. Look, if you're not interested, that's fine. But always make our mobile homes better if we get the right type of feedback, so that we can make our system better as well, per se, right? What was it about the mobile home that you didn't like, or why didn't you move forward with it? Simple as that. All feedback is good, bad, or different. We can only learn from it. So when they give me an actual thorough feedback of, well, had a bad smell, the floors were a little this, the walls were that, there were scratches, I didn't like the neighborhood, et cetera, et cetera. Would that at least help you sell better the next time around? Sometimes just pointing out certain things can be huge. If the community was, that's not something you really can control. But let's say it gets a little loud at night, or there's certain things going on out there. If you give somebody heads up pre-hand, that can mean them being okay with it, because now they're not walking into this kind of activity is going on, or that was kind of loud out here, or this or that. Now they're actually expecting, that's what he meant by that. So now it is a pre-hand. You're almost setting them up for it, so that they're aware, and it changes the way of people seeing things all around. Anyway, if there are things that they mentioned into the that they mentioned about the mobile home, it could be something small, could be something big, but it just depends on that. Is it something that you can fix? Well, it was missing this, it was missing that. Is it in your budget to say, well, let me go ahead and take it off the market, come in and do those little repairs since somebody is asking for this? And if you do choose to do those repairs, because let's say Mr. Johnson said that, well, it had this, it had that, okay, ask them. So, Mr. Johnson, if we got those two things that you mentioned, repaired or fixed or whatever needed, would you be interested at that point? Well, no. Okay. Why else? Why not? Now what is missing? And it will point something else. And it points something else. You can't please everybody. I'm going to point that out now. You cannot please everybody, and stop trying to please everybody, but you want to deliver a presentable, livable product. At the end of the day, if Mr. Johnson's just not going to buy it, it's just not going to rent it, then that's fine. But we got ourselves good feedback. That now when we go to the next potential buyer, we approach them differently. And in the third one, a little differently, because yes, I want feedback from everybody who sees the mobile home and see what they think. And that's how we change and make our system better and our mobile homes even more desirable. It's always learning from the previous, and we just keep on going that way. Posting in different areas is also huge. A lot of you use bandit signs. They use good old fashioned signs. For sale signs are fantastic, but remember how limited something like that is. If I stick a for sale sign on the front of the mobile home or on a window, and sure, the community knows about it, and if somebody drives by, they will see it, obviously, that it is for sale. But I want something bigger scale than that, and it's always been social media. Social media is phenomenal. It is huge. It is steady growing, and I love when I post an ad. Hey, we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single wide downtown Atlanta, Georgia. We are asking 20,000 cash or best offer, may finance with X amount. We work with everyone. Somebody else shares that post for me, and then somebody shares that for me. Do you realize the scale of amount of people you're going to attract? More and more people are going to see that you sell in a mobile home. And if you're doing this in large scales, don't forget, every time somebody's selling or buying a mobile home, you want them to think of you. And the only way to do that is brand, market, and advertise yourself. Steady. Hashtag. That's the key on that one. Steady. I have some of these investors, they tell me, well, I posted an ad 2 weeks ago. It got no traction. Can't imagine. Last week. Okay. When's the next one? Maybe next week. Okay. That may be a problem. We post on different social medias, and y'all can use any social media you like, but we use the good old Craigslist, Let Go, OfferUp, Classified, Facebook Marketplace, ad after ad after ad. When it comes to, I'm going to repeat those: Craigslist, Let Go, OfferUp, Classified. Okay. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, mornings and evenings, whether we're looking for inventory to buy, inventory to sell, connection with other investors, et cetera, et cetera. That's our schedule. Facebook Marketplace, every day, 7 days a week, but it is in the evening when we post. And that's the thing too, is you have to learn these systems and know when your clientele, customer, however you want to call them, are active online. That's something that we coach a little bit more specific, a lot more deep dive on the actual branding, marketing, advertising class, of course. But I will give you this tip: don't do it in the mornings. Nobody is on Facebook in the mornings that is interested in your posts. Not when it comes to mobile homes. All right, I think that's. What do y'all think? Good call. Any questions? Let me see. I see a couple here on TikTok. I still don't see the response to that same question. I don't understand that question, so you're gonna have to reiterate that for me there. All right, let me do a couple announcements here, and if anybody has any questions after the fact, I'll go ahead and answer the above as well. I mentioned the calendar. Some of y'all still don't know when every coaching call we have is available, and you are constantly sending us emails. What time? Same time every week. Sunday, 8 p.m., 30-minute free coaching. Okay, Sunday, 8 p.m. That's every Sunday, 8 p.m. EST time. Tuesday, 7 p.m. EST or EST time. That's when we pitch deals, mobile home deals. Some of you are wondering, well, all this is fancy good talk and all, but I can't find my first deal. Come on our Tuesday calls. That's when we pitch off market the best deals. Our deals are inside of communities that are already, our credibility is already built. They welcome GMHU students and our investors that we bring in. They do allow subleasing, so it is great all in all. Wednesday, like tonight, this will be going back to members starting next week. So if you enjoyed this call, join us. I don't know what the cost is at this point. It is minimal, but it is a 30-day subscription, and it's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. typically. We'll do a little shorter or a little longer, just depends on the topics that we're covering and how many questions are coming in. So keep in mind as well. Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. That is our weekly mobile home check-in calls. That's where we update you on any coaching, any events, live, Zoom, wherever we're having them. Any deals, any opportunities, anything we're working on, that's what we take the time to cover. We've also had speakers come on there, and we're going to continue to have that as well. This Saturday, however, we are going to be live at 10 in the morning, same time at the mobile home walkthrough. It is our level up. Let me take one step just a little bit back and tell you on that calendar. We have a calendar now set up with every day of the week that has something that we're working on, some type of coaching. So for those of you who cannot keep up with the coaching calls and the schedule, send us a DM. We'll send you the calendar. You'll be able to click it and see every event, every topic we'll be covering, et cetera, et cetera. So some of you, I think it's going to help out a lot. But back to September 24th, that is Saturday, less than a week away. It is Wednesday. That time is going by quick. Beautiful thing. Live inside of a mobile home, we're going to be doing a walkthrough. It is our third level up. Our level up event is much like a RIA, but we took it one step higher. It is a level up from a meetup. We do actual coaching, actual networking out there. Okay. We push for networking, building relationships, business relationships, and we make sure that we add value. We want small groups that everybody brings something to the table. This meetup is going to be not in the community park. It's going to be on a personal parcel real estate. So it's a piece of land with a double wide that is being rehabbed, and we're going to walk it through. It is scheduled. We have 30 seats available for that. And of course, we open the doors and we're up to 50 members joining us. Beautiful thing, beautiful networking, right? Everybody there is for the same reason. And that's, when you connect and you surround yourself around like-minded people, good things are bound to happen. So we're going to have that this Saturday coming up. The following Saturday, we'll be down in Central Georgia, Warner Robins, Georgia, where we're going to have our first 2-day shadow event. It is also the last shadow event of the year. The shadow event is exactly that. Shadow me for a day and let me show you how I invest in mobile homes. What is it that I look for? The roofs, the ceiling, the walls, the flooring. Is it worth my investment? What are the numbers? What is the MAO? Maximum allowed offer. What is this mobile home based on this condition worth as is? So many questions. A lot of you are getting into this, and the more serious you're getting into it, these are the type of events that you should be signing up for. Day number one is going to be all day classroom setting. We're going to be talking about all these topics, one of them being what I mentioned, branding, marketing, and advertising, talking to sellers. There's three types of sellers when it comes to mobile homes. Direct sellers, meaning somebody who lives in a mobile home, could be an investor, a wholesaler, whoever. Then you got the park management, and then you got the park owners. You approach them and you speak to them very differently. It is all business. Then you have to make an offer, like I mentioned. Documents. Where do you do your actual closings? The due diligence. Is there a deed with the mobile homes if it has land? If it's not, is it a title? Is it two title if it's a double wide? Again, specifics. All these topics we're going to cover back to back to back. How to hire handyman or contractors. That is the number one hardest task, whether you ask any real estate investor or mobile home investor. Keeping handyman busy, keeping them working on, and really at this point is even keeping them to show up. So that is a hard task, but it all starts by you interviewing them accordingly and keeping them on track. Some of that has to go a long way with how you pay them. A lot of you are paying up front, which is a terrible mistake to make, but you're not paying like you should. Everything is paid by the job. I'll leave that one there. Then you're talking about the finding a buyer, like we're mentioning, finding buyers. You know, in a perfect world, the Apple method way works best. Have buyers and then have a product. That's the way it should work. Especially if you're a wholesaler, you should never be trying to lock up mobile homes, any investments. Now, granted, if it comes your way, lock it up if it's a good deal. But you really want to have buyers first and then have the product. Because then if you have a buyer, you know what to go shop for. Pretty simple, right? Easier said than done, I suppose. So all these topics. Day number 2, we have a shuttle that picks us up. They'll take us out to the field, and that's where we go live on the field. We take you inside of multiple mobile home parks where we show you how to grade them, why you should or should not invest in a certain park. And then we take you inside of mobile homes. Some are being rehabbed. Okay. Some are going to be ready for the market and some are distressed. Also, there's going to be deal opportunities. Yes, while we're out there, there is past the couple shadows that we've done, we've had investors invest in the mobile homes right there on the spot, you know, and it doesn't get easier than that. I mean, if we're teaching you step by step how to invest in mobile homes, then we take you out to communities where there's mobile homes that are actually available on the market through our programs, and we break it down. This is what you need step by step by step. I mean, it doesn't get easier than that, right? So that's the opportunities that all of you get to come in for. There's only a few seats limited. The September 24th is booked. There's nobody else is going to be signing up for that one. You know, in case y'all have not been inside of mobile homes, even double wides, they're not that big. So when you're trying to put 50 people inside a mobile home, you know, you're going to get crowded real quick. But when it comes to October 1st and 2nd, there is a few seats remaining. Visit GarciaMHU.com, visit JGarciaMHLive.com if you're interested in that, and sign up. All right. Any final questions? See anything on TikTok? All right, good evening for the few other people join us. And this call is recorded, by the way. I'm seeing if there's any comments on the chats here. But if you're just joining us and missed out some of what we were sharing, join our YouTube. Visit GarciaMHU.com, click on our YouTube, and this call will be on there come tomorrow morning. You'll be able to watch the whole call. All right. I don't see any other questions at this time. So I think great call. Awesome. A few good questions. Any other questions, y'all can email us. But if not, then I will see y'all Saturday morning. Thank you all and have a great evening.